Good morning, everyone. It is another super early morning, very quiet. Um, like it's early that I'm filming this. This is a casual garden stroll. This is just where I pretty much walk around, talk about the garden, show you a few things that are new, show you what I'm thinking, whatever. You kind of little get a, I don't know, a scary little insight into inside my head. And then I pretty much just put it up basically unedited unless I say a really bad word or something. Or I show something that I don't intend to. So welcome, everyone. One of my favorite comments from last week was somebody saying, I'm looking forward to seeing Erin without her puffy coat on. It's not going to be today, because here we are, still puffy coating it up. Still mandatory use in this garden. The strangest, well, not strange, I think it's normal weather, but it's frustrating weather. It's been super cool here. Inland, again, it's been warm, but here, I mean, yesterday we had a high of 60. It was freaking freezing. We had our first sailboat race, and it was really cold on the lake. And it's just very strange. And then you might remember that in April we had our wettest April ever since they've been keeping records in Wisconsin. I think we had, I mean, I don't know how much it was here, but somewhere it was 9 inches or something of rain. May is the driest May we've ever had, 0.3 inches of rain in Milwaukee, and I think we had less here. So it is, all of a sudden we went from kind of really nice moisture, and thank God we had it, or else we'd really be in trouble right now. But it is so dry. So I've been pretty much every night, I move the sprinkler around somewhere to water something, because it is painfully dry here. All of which isn't that big of a deal, because I have done basically no planting. It has been, just whatever. It's the same thing I talked about last week about how, you know, you get these things where you have to get one thing done in order to do another thing. By the way, you'll note behind me, I did bring some plants outside because they just got to get out of the house. So I'm just trying to harden them off in that little corner over there. Squirrel. It's just, I think the early Memorial Day has really screwed up my brain for where we should be, because in general, I usually think it's safe here to plant out annuals and tomatoes and cucumbers, things like that, dahlias, the week after Memorial Day. And so I feel like we should be there right now, but really we're still almost a full week ahead of that yet. So maybe this weather is normal and I'm just not used to it. Anyway, long story short, I'm going to show you almost nothing in the way of planting that I've done. Just a few things, because I have not had any time to do any proper gardening, which is so frustrating. Just working on some big projects that we'll talk about when there's something to talk about. There's nothing to talk about with them yet, but they just have to get done. Like, those just have to be the priority right now. I am going to start with what I did last week, right after I filmed this video last week, because I'm pretty sure I have a big regret. So we're just going to go out to the end of the driveway. We're just going to start with that. And talk about things Erin does that maybe I shouldn't do. Okay, we are at the bed at the end of the driveway here. The Heckler & macro is coming up. By the way, it's coming up rather patchy over here. I mean, these used to be huge. I think probably it's getting a little congested. And, you know, I've been doing chop and drop on here for a long time, and I'm starting to think that maybe there's been too much chopping and dropping. The ones that are, I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep the address sign out of this. The ones that are over here look good. I think, not that I need another project, I need that like a hole in the head. I think I should probably dig these up and dig everything out, clear out this whole bed, and then divide the good ones and cut out the bad bits of the bad ones and replant all this. Maybe even put a little compost in there, re-enrich the soil a little bit. That is not the problem. I think you see the problem here. Okay, here's the deal, you guys. I planted this bed in 2018, and it was for a project with Troy-Bilt. And they gave us a very limited budget for plants to work with, and it was on a really tight deadline. And so everything that you see here was planted there, but the pagoda dogwoods, there's 2 of them here and here. And then, well, no, the Hackland Cloa, I just added that was not part of it. Then, as you may recall, there were originally boxwoods in here. This is where we had boxwood blight. So all those were removed. As it turns out, I didn't even need them. The Hackland Cloa fills in, or has in the past. And then I needed the screening shrubs behind it that I planted up on a berm. And when it comes to sort of a part shade situation or part sun, I mean, this is probably more like part shade more than part sun. There's not a lot of evergreen options, as you well know. And certainly not that are affordable. So I bought dwarf Alberta spruces. I will just tell you, you guys, I hate Alberta. This is not a plant I like. And this is why, because every Alberta spruce you've ever seen does this, right? I mean, by the way, I know they are super prone to mites. I don't believe this is mite damage. I mean, it could be, but I've never seen mites on it. Totally possible, but you can see how they're all like dead at the bottom. I just think they're so freaking ugly. So then what people do with them is things like that, right? And so here's the thing. You can see here, I've got this cute little guy. This is a Hinoki cypress, and I actually have 3 of them that I bought. No, excuse me, burp, super incorrect there. Isley sent me them, sorry. I've tried to be very, very clear, you guys, when I get stuff and when I pay for stuff. Anyway, they sent me 3 of these. And I ordered those to replace these. And then they came and I'm like, wow, those are really small. This is Confucius. It is Camercypris obtusa Confucius. It's a Hinoki cypress that theoretically, not even theoretically, is hardy here. I mean, should be good. Always put an asterisk by that because, you know, plants don't read tags. But they're quite a bit smaller than I thought they were. Now, it is one that grows faster than others. So, and I think they get up to 10, 12 feet, something like that. I don't know. So I thought, okay, we're gonna do that. But then I brought it out here, I'm like, wow, we are losing a lot of screening because if you look behind this, this is our neighbor's shed here. And you can see, like, you know, he does stuff you do behind your shed. He's got materials piled up and his tractor parked there and a big compost pile. Not that I mind the compost pile, but you know, all of that kind of stacked up back there. It's not the best look when you come into the driveway of something you want to see, right? So this is a fairly important view, not to mention it also provides us screening when we sit over there on the patio. It also provides us a good amount of screening here. Conversation's getting super long. Long story short, I was gonna rip them all out, and then at the last minute, I thought, in consultation with some people, try pruning it up and see what it looks like. So I actually had this one like halfway out, and then I pruned it. And I'm like, oh God, I hate it. I hate it, because this is what I hate about dwarf Alberta spruces, because this is what you do with them. After that happens, you do this. You guys might like these, and that's great. I'm just telling you, this is my personal opinion. And I'm like, oh God, I hate it. And so then there was some thought of like, okay, well, I could limb these up and then I could plant 2 of the Hinokis in between them and do something else with the 3rd. I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. So I also hate the idea of losing this. But, so I have regrets. I probably shouldn't have messed with this at all, because even though they're pretty bad looking at the bottom, like, you don't see that at the top, and you only really see that if you're standing here. Anyway, long story short, I think it's too late, because now there's no going back. So I think we're pulling these out, and I'm gonna just plant those, and we're just gonna deal with it, and it's not gonna be great. What I am doing to try to mitigate the damage is I've got 4 of these bottlebrush buckeyes. Lovely, lovely shrub, which is kind of suckering. And you can see it on a couple of them. Like, like here you can see, I think this is where a branch has air layered maybe. But they kind of get into grow into colonies eventually. So so what I'm trying to do here is, they've been here for a while and they are wonderful, but they've been slow growing. I think I'm just gonna pump these with water. Like, I'm gonna water the heck out of these, because I think this is quite a dry spot over here. So I think that's why maybe they haven't grown as fast as they could be. So I'm just gonna water the heck out of this area over here and try to pump a bunch of water to those. And I've got this beautiful neon dogwood, and there's some beautiful hydrangeas and stuff in here too, but I'm just gonna water, be really good about watering, try to get those growing. And then maybe eventually I can grow something behind this bottlebrush buckeye. But for the most part, that's the plan. Anyway, so that's my big regret, is that I probably shouldn't have just gone whole hog on that. I will say, by the way, though, that once again, we'll just give a shout out to my very favorite ground cover big root geranium, which I brought in here to cover this ugly berm, and it covered it immediately, just dividing it. And it stays. The only place where you can see it coming off the berm is right here. It just stays where you put it until you move it. It's so good. Anyway, that's Erin doing stupid things in the garden. Let's stroll a little here. We'll show you. So the daffodils, we've gotten to the point where the daffodil foliage is driving me mad. So, and it's probably technically too early to cut them back, but we're gonna cut them back real soon. I did plant something right here in this corner, which has been the site of many plant deaths, tree deaths. There was a big apple dogwood that was there. I think there was something else, but a serviceberry before that. Plants love to die in this spot, and I think it's because, ironically, this is a super wet spot because the water like rolls off the driveway, and that's the creek, and it gets over there eventually. But I think this is kind of a low spot, and I think it sort of pools here. So I put in a black lace elderberry. Also, I'm not sure about what the sun here is. Part sun? I mean, really hot sun later? I don't know. Anyway, black lace elderberry, which I thought, hey, now that can handle some water. And it can handle not water. You know, it's pretty adaptable once you get going. So I've actually been looking for a spot to put one of those anywhere. It's a plant that I love. And I've been told I do have lost a few of the lemony laces to verticillium wilts around here, but my understanding is that this is actually a different species than lemony lace elderberry, and supposedly less susceptible to verticillium wilt. So we're gonna find out. Anyway, beautiful plant. Love it. And I'm glad I found a place to put one in. I think if this grows nice and big, you know what I'll do is I'll limb it up so that it doesn't fully block the path here. This is crested surf ferns. I've been talking about these past few, and I keep forgetting the name of them, so I thought I'd just tell you. This is the basically the Japanese painted fern that has these little curly cues on the end. Literally, you guys, it's so frustrating that I've just done nothing in the way of planting here. Or moving plants. What I have been doing is a lot of this. Like, this is Nepeta subsessilis. Oh, it's starting to bloom already. I've been trying to pinch things back. Look at that, already starting to bloom. So I'll do a few of them. Anyway, I've been doing this with sedums, some Nepeta, sort of a Chelsea chop scenario, kind of. Last week I asked you for opinions on which dogwood should go here, and this is which dogwood went here. I went with the white one. This is green sleeves. And so here's the spot where it's at. Hope it does well there. I also planted this gorgeous Japanese umbrella pine. This is Green Star. Look how beautiful. Oh God, I love it. I love that. So I hope that's going to be protected enough. I worry a little bit about winter. I think I might actually give it a little winter protection for the first few years, because it's got these very broad needles on it. And so that makes it more susceptible to desiccation. And that's really an issue here, I believe. So I think that's why I kind of lost the Japanese black pine. So maybe I'll do, probably spray it with something like wilt proof, right? And wilt proof, what's the other, oh Jesus. There's two of them. Anyway, you know, this is this pine resin stuff that you can spray on boxwoods and stuff, and it helps a ton. So probably spray it, and then probably put like a little bit of burlap, like not tightly wrapped around it, but like to break the wind a little bit. And then we've more of a mess over here. And then I did plant this beautiful wabi-sabi Japanese maple over here, and I love it here. It's so pretty. Beautiful here. And it's close enough to appreciate, you know. And then if you look over here, you know, we've got the north wind right there. This is Acanthifolium. Very pretty. Very happy with that. Let's just walk over here. I don't know that there's much to show you over there. A lot of the geranium macrorhizums coming into, this is, you know, this one might be a cultivar by a Covo maybe. I don't know. I never pay much attention with which is which is unfortunate. Speaking of ground covers, check out how this carex, this stripy carex, the name of which I can't tell you right now, how well it's spreading through here. I love it. I just want everything to like spread so nicely because I just don't want to weed anymore. We'll take a look at the garden over here in a second, but did want to show you the tricolor beech, which is finally leafed out, or starting to. It still isn't fully leafed out, but it's just, oh gosh, that tree is just outstanding. There's this one weird little branch over here that I probably should maybe prune that back, but maybe I won't, I don't know. Anyway, so pretty. Of course, the fresh leaves are always so nice, but you can see there's more leafing out to be done here, but right, so pretty. Now this is Rubro marginata, which is supposed to have a white edge on it too, and this is a thing that happens apparently. A lot of times they have that in their nursery container and then they lose it, and I think I read somewhere that it has something to do with it's kind of like, okay, I'm not sure if I should even say this. Well, take this with a giant grain of salt because I might be making this up out of whole cloth. But I thought that I read that the white edge is that really good variegation is a stress response. And so they're more stressed when they're in a container or smaller. And so sometimes it takes a while, or I don't know. Maybe I should stop talking about it. I might be lying about everything right now. I'm going to stop. Because sometimes I just say things that I think are right, but I don't check it, and then I'm wrong, and I get in a lot of trouble. Okay, again, this bed is obviously star of the show. I still don't have water in this because I'm going to seal the inside of it, which I didn't realize you could even do with these, to help keep the rust sloughing to a minimum. So that's why I don't have water. Otherwise, this would be beautiful because it is. I would like the water in it now. But look, I mean, just as everything gets bigger, it's just more and more beautiful. Now, there is a plant I want to tell you about if I can find it in here. And I really, yes, okay, there's one, but I'm looking for the one with a tag by it. Step carefully here. This one's got the tag. Okay. I think it has the tag. I just pulled it up the other day. Hold on. Oh my gosh, where are you? Tag. Because I will never remember the name of this plant. It's in the hydrangea. It's like false hydrangea or something. But that it starts with a D. Anyway, it's a very cool plant. I have 3 of them here. They struggle a little bit because they actually want like acidic soil, I think, which I of course don't have. Where are the other ones? Because I know I pulled the tag up the other day to read it, and I'm like, put that tag back because you'll never remember, and I can't. Here's another one right here. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get this to focus. Here we go. Diananthe cerulean, Blue Wonder. Now, I've never seen them. I don't think I've seen them. Maybe I've seen one flower once. I actually saw these. This is one of those deals where I was watching. Oh no, I can't get that tag back in there. We gotta set it right in there. I should write that down somewhere. I was watching a webinar, and I literally bought the plant during the webinar as soon as I saw it. And then here's the third one right here. So those always come up a little bit later. I really should mark them because every year I'm like, where are they? I don't want to accidentally weed them or do something. But we've got a little lungwort blooming. Oh, it's just so, love this bed so much this time of year. And again, I'll show you this. Look, so pretty. Did I show you everything that I've planted? Oh, there's a few little things I popped in, but really I haven't had a chance to do any proper planting. Maidenhair ferns. Oh, the origami Japanese maple is rough looking. It has become clear to me, I've discovered that when we had a little tree pruning done here, they dropped a branch on it and broke something. Also, the deer were munching on it, which is super frustrating. Look at this beautiful little primula here in front of this hosta. That's a nice little moment. And the blue flowers of the pulmonaria just popping up over the Canadian ginger there. I guess at some point we'll stop just blabbing on about this garden, but it is so pretty right now. It'd be better if there was water in there. I should get water in there so I can take some decent pictures. Here's the flowerfuls. I've been trying to get in here and open up these little leaf purses. I think that's so cute that they call them purses. What is this? This is a nest for a dam worm. Tiny little worm. Wait, let me just focus you in here so you can actually see. There's the worm right there. That little freaking worm does that. It's from the leaf tire butterfly or something, I think. Moth, butterfly. Anyway, larvae. I did apply significant amounts of deer repellent last Sunday because this, when I found this all chewed up, it was very sad, but it keeps growing and it's covered up the bit up stems. So pretty. That's Clematis recta compacta. Purpurea recta compacta. And then a lot of this is going to look the same to you because, again, nothing happening. Like, still dead plants laying there. Still haven't emptied that. Oh, I did do one container, half of one container last week. I knew I was going to spend all day doing unfun garden projects, so I got up early and I just, like, I'm going to do something fun for myself. I'm going to plant a container. The ladies' mantle is really filling in. I'm a big fan, as you know. Is getting some flowers on it. I did plant some alternanthera in here. I just realized I still haven't put up that video that was going to make that make sense. Oh, this is this scrumdiddlyumptious Edo peony. I gotta walk to the other side here. I'm gonna flip you upside down here so you can see the 3 flowers. I think I have one more bud left. Yeah, one more bud left on here. But look at that with that like big magenta streak. They'll be open a little bit more later in the day, but obviously I'm in love with that plant. Oh, do the container first. This is filled in really nicely here too. So I half planted this container because I wanted to do something fun. So I have planted this with a pot, which I'm now storing stuff in apparently. Planted this with a pot back here because this pot is where the alocasia is going to go. I'm going to put a Emerald City alocasia in there. It's currently in the greenhouse. I'm trying to get some growth on them before I put them out here because it's still pretty cold for them. But so here, I'll tell you what we have in here. We have Space Age Europa Rex Begonia. Softly pretty. This is Selenia yellow begonia. And then I just did some of the Icicles helichrysum in there. And then we'll have it. Try not to look at the hot pink spray paint color. Anyway, so then we'll get the height with the alocasia. But I just wanted to I just love planting containers. And I just wanted to do something fun last week. Moonrise, Japanese Shirazawa, Korean maple, is looking just stunning. So I often wonder, well, I don't often wonder it, but I do wonder if I should think about, would that tree look better if I thinned it out a little to get a little bit more air in between there? Weigh in the comments. I'm here to hear it. Or do we just like it as this sort of mass and we just let it grow and deal with that later? It is a total stunner though. This is its best color, is in spring. The spring color is way better in this one than the fall color. Just like the most beautiful greens and oranges and reds. It's a beauty. These are going to be Mount Everest alliums here. And this is what I wanted to show you guys. Look at the size of these poppies. These are the amazing gray Shirley poppies that I grew from seed and planted out as seedlings. I can't believe how big they're getting. It's amazing. In terms of bred seed poppies, I still have to, oh my God, this bed. Look at the hot freaking mess. I've just started pulling out the Virginia bluebells. So and I did it last night when I was dead tired, so I just was pulling them out by hand. So there's bits of that around, but there's, this is chickweed all, up in that business there. So a lot of the poppies tend to, they wash down to the edges. I do have quite a few in there, but I need to clean the bed out, and then I might try to relocate some of these. I never like to get rid of a bred seed poppy seedling because, what if it's the next really cool one? You never know what's going to pop up when they mix and match with themselves and you save seed. And then this is Kinsley's Ghost here, which has, you might recall, I have sort of kind of semi-formed up into a tree form. So it gets quite long now. So what will probably happen is I will let it flower and we'll enjoy those beautiful silvery bracts. And then at some point when that's done, I will prune it to get it back into more of a form later on. But for now, this is it. And then, this viburnum is working on starting to bloom, which is really lovely. Here's the cotinus that gets sort of semi-pollarded. Here, look at how just covered, look at how covered in flowers that thing is. I love a viburnum, especially this plicatum tomentosum varieties. Look at all those. Oh, so stunning. I did prune it a little bit to keep it away from the urn this year, and then I think there were some weird branches kind of sticking out sideways, so I did prune it kind of just to lift it a little. It's hanging over the lawn, which makes lawn mowing difficult, and that is not my problem. Sorry, Mr. Much More Patient, aka the lawn guy, is gonna have to just deal. So there's still a lot of plants hanging out, and I think I have more coming. The last bunch I think is coming probably Wednesday or Thursday this week. And then we do have some of the purple sensations starting to flower, which is, well, some. Basically, they're all starting to flower. I love, so since purple sensation allium is such a reseeder, this is what happens. You get multiple colors in there, which is pretty. Now, these seem to be mostly the lighter ones. I wish some of these darker ones would kind of pop up over here, but so pretty. Just don't look down at the foliage, which again, I mentioned last week, you can cut, you can certainly cut the bad tips off and leave a little bit. You can, in the case of this, okay, here's the thing, guys. Look at this. In the case of that, right there. You can't tell me that's doing anything for this plant anymore. That is where the point at which you would cut back any bulb. So as far as I'm concerned, when it lays down flat and it's basically looks dead like that, you can't tell me that's doing anything. So I will have no problem and zero guilt cutting that back. And then, oh, I'll show you my sad columbines. These are my columbines. I'm assuming this, someone probably knows what this is. It's like some sort of sawfly, I'm sure, that just decimates the foliage on these. I mean, they still have flowers on them. I guess I don't care. Most of these seeded themselves around. I guess I'm just not going to care. I mean, I'm not going to go in there and, but they're all like that. Look. I mean, I'm not going to care about that as long as they just keep flowering. Oh, what's this though? This is a light pink. That's new. Let's get you some focus. That's pretty. And flopping. What's it doing flopping? No one asked you to flop. Okay, I think that's the highlights. Oh, I just want to show you, this is another, especially my sedums, I go around and pinch those. Now, I pinch them because I just happen to be walking by them. So I pinch this one, and then I actually take the cuttings and I just stick them in the ground somewhere because they might root, they might not root, but it's worth it because you're cutting them off anyway. You can also just take a shear and cut these in half. But this is a very good one. I don't know what this is, but it's a really nice dark purple one. So I like this. I wouldn't mind this one spreading around a little bit, and it does get a little rangy here, so it's important for me to cut that one. And I've been doing the same thing with the ones over here. And like literally, this is one of those, cocktail glass in hand, cut, just pinch them back, and you can see where I've pinched some of these, and it's just like one of those, done. But like I said, you can definitely you can take a shears and just lop them in half, which I do sometimes with these ones back here, which are not really, they're not quite tall enough to do that yet, I think. But I could certainly do that there. By the way, I was noticing yesterday, I love how the obelisk, which could use a repainting, like we got a color reference here. I love that. So nice. I'm just so happy that the beds are starting to kind of fill up a little bit. Okay guys, that's the tour for today. That's the Erin frustration tour. This is the time of year, a lot of times in the past, I've taken vacation from work for like 3 days in like this first week of June, and I have just pounded out the garden. Like, not all of it, of course, but a lot of it. And it's amazing what you can do when you get like 3 days plus a weekend, like how much you can get done, because it's uninterrupted time in the garden. Of course, you're just like dead tired at the end of it, but it's like uninterrupted time in the garden. And it's just lovely when that happens. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I just, I've got this I have a new position now, and it's not really a thing I think I can do. But if I can find a way to take like a day off, and it's not like a half, because you know what, half days don't work. I tried to do that on Friday. I actually woke up super early in the morning, like 4:30, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to go back to sleep. I'm going to get up, I'm going to do the stuff I need to do, and I'm going to get to work early so that I can get home by like 2 or 3. That did not happen. And once you're sucked in, it's very hard to get out, and there's just a lot happening, and I still could have worked later. So half days don't do it. Half days are not helpful. What I need is a full day where I wake up in the morning, start in the garden, and end in the garden. Maybe I can find one of those this week. It seems doubtful, but that would be even one day to be able to garden instead of not work on all the projects I've got sitting around that need to get done first, or get those done, whatever, so that I can get to the gardening part, because I am a frustrated gardener who just wants to do the gardening parts. All right, well, that's Odin or Darwin from inside. All right, you guys, have a great week in your garden. I hope everything's going great in your garden. I hope you enjoyed my giant garden mishap at the end of the driveway there. All right, you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.